quiet seaside town, an evil lain to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tabletop Gold, episode 203. Hi, I'm Lars Casteen. Welcome to the show. This is a Pathfinder podcast where we play the Abomination Vault's adventure path, except we're kind of getting away from doing that a little bit right now because we're in a little bit of a little side situation, which is what, of course, my father called my mother. Back when I was a kid. Just kidding. I was trying to come up with like a less offensive take on that. I was trying to like, which is like my brother, and I couldn't come up with anything other than just like
nothing about that.
You know,
everything about it was bad.
Impugning members of my family, hurting a lot of people that weren't deserving it at all in the meantime. And this is why it's usually professionals who do broadcasting. And I think we've all learned something. So, hi, I'm Lars. Welcome to the show. I'm joined today
Next week for another exciting episode.
Who's your daddy?
David. Well, David the Tin Man Chernicoff is here. Hi, David.
Good that time. I feel like I should apologize.
Why do you feel like you should apologize, David?
Oh, just because.
Because it was me. Because I said the bad
side piece thing, and
I did the bad thing. Yeah. Well, I'm happy to shift all the blame onto you,
okay.
Or onto Zoe Chernicoff. Hi, Zoe.
Good blame time.
Good blame time. Also playing the blame game is Robin Lange.
Don't blame me. I didn't do anything. Hi.
Hi. You did nothing wrong.
I did nothing wrong. I'm perfect.
Okay. And our Matt Humphreys is here as well.
Good scapegoat time, y'all.
Good scapegoat time. It was our Matt's fault the whole time.
I did.
It was me.
All of the bad things.
It was me.
David's still recovering from me claiming that I'm perfect.
Join us next week for another exciting episode.
We're going to get into our adventure real soon. We've got some. We're jumping out into a little bit of wide open air right now. It should be pretty fun to do. But before that, we're going to talk about one of the single worst online quizzes that I've ever seen. This is something that we used to do like a long time ago. We used to take these like personality quizzes on the show from time to time. It's a really nice way to like get to know each other. It's a nice way to help the audience like understand where it is that we're coming from. This quiz is one that I saw on our Discord. The various Tabletop Gold communities were discussing this particular test. I took it and I was like, this is one of the dumbest uses of time I've ever done. And trust me, that's a high bar. This is a quiz. I'll put the link on screen right now if you're watching the video. It's at like gotoquiz.com, and I'll put the link in the show notes. This is a quiz called What Paranormal Creature Are You Most Like? It's a series of 12 questions that sorts everybody into one paranormal creature or another. I think it's a very fitting conversation. There are a lot of monsters and what have you in a game. We're here talking, so we may as well talk about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
I'd be happy. We all have our results. I'd be happy to go first if you would like. Or if anybody has an answer, a solution.
Can we quickly,
please.
without even only knowing what we each got, guess what we think everyone else got?
Oh, that's good. That's good.
A great idea. Yeah.
I don't know how many options there are for answers.
But I don't want anyone to learn anything more about it. I think that makes it more fun. Just a paranormal person or creature you think people might be.
Okay, then I'll go first. What paranormal creature do you think I am, everybody? Frost giant. Because I'm cold and I'm big.
Yes, those are the reasons.
Twilight vampire, because you're sparkly.
Oh, thank you.
Mountain troll because you're formidable and tall.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. The answer that I got, I'm happy to share with you, is I took this quiz the other day and I got Twilight Vampire as my pick.
Hey!
Like I got it. I slam dunked it. I just took it again tonight. Apparently I've changed. I'm now a quote unquote classic werewolf.
Oh.
I'm just an average person haunted by a hidden secret that dwells within me. And you know what? I'll take it. That's probably true.
Yeah.
I probably have like a dark something or other going on in there somewhere, right? Probably.
Unquestionably.
Zoe, do you want to know what fantasy creature I think you are?
Yes, I do.
I think you are the mermaid.
Mermaid. Okay, we got a mermaid guess.
Yes.
Anyone
that's my
else?
guess.
See which of these is the
You guys can all
hottest
just say
one.
angel. It's
I
fine.
was going to say angel, actually.
I'm going to
Wow.
go classic vampire, actually. I think.
Okay. Dear?
Mermaid's the hottest one. I'm saying mermaid.
Thanks, babe. I am actually a Twilight werewolf.
A Twilight werewolf.
Mermaid is second, but Twilight werewolf is at the top for me.
I like that this is the way that we're talking about this quiz because we are slowly uncovering all the ways in which it's awful. We now know that there's a classic werewolf, a Twilight werewolf. Of the 7 options, we have classic werewolf, Twilight werewolf, classic vampire, and Twilight vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
the canonical
60%
paranormal creature.
It's ridiculous. I hope this was made like 15 years ago or whenever Twilight was at its highest. Because if people are like carrying that much water for Twilight now, I'm like genuinely confused because these are not variations of these monsters that I've thought of in a decade.
This is
Yes.
definitely like 2010s vibes for sure.
Anybody else have a monster? Want to do the monster mash? Anybody?
Yeah,
Anybody?
I want y'all to do me next.
I think you're the Slender Man. Is what I think you are.
Slenderman, one of the options?
No, it's not. But I think David's. I'm telling you, this is an opportunity for me to say that I think that David is the Slender Man. I think I figured out who it was.
Point
And
blank.
it's David. This is finally my chance to levy the accusation. People have been wondering who the Slender Man is, and I think it's David Chernicoff. I think David's out there in the middle of the woods wearing a suit, creeping around behind a bunch of trees, screaming at a guy and killing him. I think that's what David's doing.
Now, see, I agree with the woods and screaming at people, but I was assuming Jersey Devil.
Oh, the Jersey D.
Love a Jersey Devil.
Mm.
I'm changing my answer to Jersey Devil. I'm going Jersey Devil now.
I thought David would be a classic werewolf as well.
I'm going to go with Lightning God.
Ooh.
Oh.
Wow. Sorry, just y'all's assessments of who I am are still just kind of like reverberating for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been
It's classic Slender
surprisingly
Man behavior.
surprisingly layered. Well, this is going to sound familiar to you folks. My top result was Twilight Werewolf, and my second was Mermaid. Love you, babe.
Yeah.
Wow, look at us. Match
Wow.
made in heaven.
Yeah, we're just a
batting
couple of
zero.
Twilight werewolves, just Twilight werewolfing around.
Can somebody explain to me the difference between a Twilight werewolf and a classic werewolf? My understanding is that like I understand the Twilight and classic vampire thing where it's like one of them is like really hot and sparkly and can go in the sun and plays old-timey baseball or whatever.
Right.
I don't know the difference between a classic werewolf and a regular werewolf. Aren't they just like wolfy boys?
Believe that the difference is that a Twilight werewolf will fall in love with your infant and ensure that they remain soulmates for life.
Yep.
Well then, David, I'm sorry you got that as your pick.
It's okay. Zoe did too, so I'm in the clear.
Okay. Roast me, y'all.
I think that you are the Slender Man. That's right. I think you're in cahoots
He got
with
me.
David.
The Slender Lady.
Yep. This is the twist in Act 3 where it turns out, like in Scream, where it turns out that both of those guys were the Slender Man.
I'll be right back. That's my bad
Yeah, that
Matthew
dude.
Lillard
Yeah.
moment.
There you go.
Yeah.
I got Angel.
Angel.
With,
From television's Angel.
Almost.
Oh, God, no. No, I do like that show a lot more than you think.
That's the theme song.
Oh, God, that would be Detective Vampire, yeah. No, second with my runner-up being Mermaid.
Mermaid.
Basically, I am
Ah.
killed by kindness.
Those are the
Aw.
two that I'm least like, Robin. I am least Angel and least Mermaid.
And sometimes it's our differences which make us stronger.
That's right.
Now, Armat.
I'll say Twilight Mermaid.
Ooh.
I think Armet's a demon.
That is actually a very good guess because my result was classic vampire, but I felt like I could lead the quiz a little.
The final 3 questions on this quiz are the person writing it saying, I give up. Here's question 8. I don't know if maybe everybody doesn't get the same questions. This is what I got. Question 8. Almost done. Pick a number, and then it's just a series of 6 numbers that they threw into a thing.
Well,
question 9
5
was
numbers and 1 letter, the letter Q.
The letter Q. Question 9 was last question. Just pick something from the list, and there are things that have nothing to do with anything. They're just trying to satisfy the minimum requirements of this quiz.
Just padding it out.
And then the next one is kidding. Need 12 questions.
But it's number
Pick
10.
Yeah, it's number 10. So, there's a lot going on here. Somehow the people in our Discord wound up having I think a relatively substantive conversation about the various monsters that they are.
Well,
and for that, I congratulate them.
Yeah. I found this kind of, I found the sloppiness of it weirdly refreshing.
I agree. Thank you, everybody, for participating in that quiz. And what do you say we move on and let's get into it? Let's play our game. Since leaving Otari a month ago, Vadim Drakeshku has been settling back into a strange and distorted version of his old life. Vadim and his brother Radu have reunited, but the pair has spent the last weeks at war, participating in the military action of the Knights of Lastwall against the undead ruling the nation now known as the Gravelands. The battle has kept the 2 brothers so busy, they have scarcely had time to reconnect. Along with his work battling the undead and reuniting with his brother, Vadim has also been following a trail of clues that started with information from Karlth, the co-owner of Otari's bookstore. This investigation has led Vadim to this place he is right now, a campsite wedged between the trees of the dense forest known as the Northern Fangwood. The latest clue is a map showing a wizard's tower believed, at least by a roadside drunk, to be connected to Zarmovdian's name. Whether or not Zarmovdian did actually resettle here, questions remain in Vadim's mind. What sort of man was he? Is he somehow still alive? Is he undead? Something else? Whatever the truth may be, Vadim and a group of companions will get closer to it or die trying.
Ominous.
I'm assuming it's kind of early in the morning and they've all just risen from their campsite.
Yeah, it's morning. You guys are breaking camp near where this map that Vadim has shows the tower. This is the tower that on Vadim's map just says Zarmovdian on it. The 4 of you may have a very close connection to Vadim, or perhaps you're new acquaintances or even strangers. We can figure this out as we get going today. Let's get a chance to meet all of these people. It's 6 a.m. in the morning. Vadim is starting to address everybody as the crisp morning air is starting to seep its way into your body as you're finally up and moving around. There are mists rolling along the forest floor between the trees that stretch off into the distance. Big, broad trunks of the Fangwood. It's extending in all kinds of different directions. As Vadim is starting to talk, what is each of you doing to prepare for the day? And let's get a sense of what everybody looks like. David.
Yes.
You go first.
Right.
What do we see this person doing as they're getting set up to resume the hunt for Zarmovdian and as they're starting to listen to what Vadim is saying?
This is a human man, much like yours truly, but in only that respect.
That's how I answer the phone most times. I'm like, this is a human man.
Yeah.
But only in that respect.
but
Definitely
only
not
in this-
three wolves in a trench coat.
Right. No.
No, this is a maximum of 2 wolves in a trench coat. This is a man of slight build. I imagine shorter than Vadim and less striking. I think if you were scanning across this group of assembled people, you would come eventually to notice this fellow, but not until after you'd given his compatriots a longer look. He's outside the tent. He's come outside the tent already in full raiment for the day. He wears a dark green sash over a light purple robe. He carries a polished wooden staff. And I think to begin getting ready for the day, he is reconnecting once again deeply with the natural surroundings. He emerges from the tent. He draws a sharp breath in through his nose to smell and feel the air. He drops to a knee and spreads his palm and fingers out to check the energy coming from the earth. He turns his head up as he hears a bird call in the distance, and silently to himself identifies the bird. This is a cleric of Erastil, and a long time. He's been thrown in with Vadim for a long time here in Lastwall. A long time brother in arms, and his name is Blando Thrush.
Blando
That's
Thrush.
such a good name.
Blando Thrush.
And as quickly as you catch a glimpse of him, you kind of just go back to looking at someone else.
And so this unassuming cleric is sort of getting his bearings out here in the natural world. Robin, who do we see next? Who is this person who you are portraying who is helping get set up for this day? What do they look like?
So we see another human. I think we may have done Oops All Humans on this one. And she looks as though a kind of standard blondish human. But upon closer inspection, you notice that there's kind of a mossy green tint to parts of her. Like her hair almost looks like there's maybe, like she hasn't brushed it out, so there's bits of wood in there. Her skin and her leather armor maybe look a little bit mossy. But it's not enough that you really notice it, right? Like she just looks perfectly average, but it's like a sousance of this earthiness to her. And as she walks around, she seems, while she's not a large woman, something about her gives this sense of sturdiness and strength as she puts one foot after another down on the ground as she moves. And this morning she's been telepathically piling up logs that they had not used, preparing this campsite for the next guest who come through. This is Martha. The only name we have for her is Martha. Martha also met Vadim through her travels, and she looks up as he says all these thank yous and nods along, and because she also knows that she owes him her life.
Oh.
She's here to meet her debt, and you see some sparks as she's moving around those logs because she's a kineticist.
A kineticist?
Yes.
That must have been very complicated to get set up in such short time.
Especially when I've had intense neck cramps and haven't been able to look at the computer much, and so maybe sent them to my GM a little later than I should have.
Oh, it's fine. Who even keeps track of these things anyway? So Zoe, we're going to turn our attention next to another person setting up logs, or just listening to Vadim clearing the getting prepared for this next day of hunting Zarmavdian. What does this person look like, Zoe?
Sure. He's a young man. Let's call him 23 because it's a magical number. Fairly, clearly strong, but thin and tall, with sort of ear-length dark black hair and a 5 o'clock shadow. And he's dressed in an infantryman outfit with a bright red cowl around his neck and several sashes and a sword strapped to his back and the like. And he's, helping confidently to prepare things and get things packed up for the day. But every few minutes, you see his eyes dart over to Vadim, always sort of checking and making sure that what he's doing is approved of or not, at least disapproved of. He always wants to appear confident, but needs the approval of the group leader. And this, of course, is Radu Drakescu.
I'm so excited.
Zoe's playing Radu.
So awesome!
Isn't that exciting?
I'm so hyped for this, I have to say.
Okay. So we are going to rejoin Vadim. He's talking as you're finishing up your business around the camp. And Armet, what is Vadim talking about here to get things started for this day of adventuring, wizard hunting, historical research? I don't even know what to call it, but what is Vadim talking about here?
Yeah, I think Vadim is just trying to connect the dots for this group of people, all of whom he's had, close bonds with in the past, and who he's calling in markers with on a certain level in order to do this mission, adventure, expedition. And so he just wants to fill them in on everything that basically has led him to this point. I suppose it begins with a dream. A dream of a small town. And the man, a rogue, a thief, burning, screaming, and being dragged into the earth. At first, I didn't think anything of it, but I spoke later with our superiors at the medical training hall in Vigil. You remember, Blando. You know Father Forthright? He taught Gauze 101. Between the two of us, we determined that these were not simple dreams. They were messages from Pharasma, Our Lady of the Graves, she who awaits us all after our deaths. And I discovered a little bit about the Rose Guard, the group of adventurers who had brought the foul necromancer Belcora Haruvex down. And as I read, I eventually understood that his spirit was trapped there. And that, I believe, was what my lady was sending me to achieve. I ended up face to face with him, and I hoped I had freed his soul. Something foul, something ancient, dragged him deeper below the earth, and he screamed, just as he had in my dreams, about betrayal of the wizard who was supposed to be his comrade, Zarmavdian. Not long after that, I got Radu's letter. I had to ask myself, what do I want to do? Do I abandon my comrades here? Do I see this through? And ultimately, I thought, he's the only family I have left. Radu knows some of this, and he nods over and he's like, so I'm sorry I'm boring you here, but...
No, Radu says, like, clearly glowing and thrilled, but not certain how to express that.
And you see an unfamiliar expression across Vadim's face it's a genuine smile. In any case, when I left, I thought the dreams would get worse. Pharasma would be punishing me, but she hadn't. Well, until recently. And that's what brings us here. I've been having the dreams again. Not about Otari, but about Zarmovdian. I started digging into research from notes I had taken from my time in Otari to try and find Zarmovdian. And I found a folio tucked away at the back of a small shop in Califas as I was coming here. A folio that mentioned the establishment of a wizard's tower here in the Fangwood. Now, the name was simply Z, but it seemed like too close to what I was looking for to dismiss. And that night, that was when the nightmares began again. The days that I've managed to track down the location of this tower, the nightmares cease. The days where I do not, they come back, all the stronger. My dreams are like a lead, and Pharasma keeps me on a tight leash by them. I am nothing more than her hound, I believe. I wonder if it's Otari's rage that is keeping him trapped. And perhaps if we can destroy him, if Zarmovdian is indeed the kind of blackguard we think he may be, perhaps vengeance may offer him some relief. Maybe we might even redeem him. But if not, if he is a monster, if he has become some kind of undead, as I have to imagine he is if he is still living here in the Gravelands, then it is a worthy deed that we shall try to achieve for the Knights of Lastwall. Here, let me show you the folio. It contains a map, and he unfolds it, and he shows you the Wizard's Tower marked with the Z right here in the section of the Fangwood we're in.
Radu hurries over and studies it very carefully.
Martha steps over, bringing her eye a little closer to the map to see, kind of remember what she remembers about what she knows about the forest.
What you know about the forest, what Martha knows about the forest, is that you're in an incredibly remote portion of the forest. The Fangwood is dense, it is huge, it is not a place, especially now that Lastwall has fallen and that it's now the Gravelands. This is not a place that much of anyone has gone to, and this is a particularly remote area. Martha, perhaps of all of you, given her connection to wood and her connection to the spirit within trees and so on and so forth, is maybe in some ways comforted. But the fact that you are out here in the middle of absolutely nowhere likely has even Martha on edge.
Vidimo put his hand on Radu's shoulder as he's studying the map and smile at Martha. Again, it looks weird on his face because he's clearly a man not used to doing so. It's good to see you again, Martha. Thank you for coming, and especially with so little information provided in my letter.
Of course, there's no chance I wouldn't have come to fulfill the bond I owe you.
Is anybody here weirded out by the fact that Vadim's story is basically, I was drawn across the sea by nightmares that I had about one person getting killed, and now I'm being drawn by more nightmares off to this other place? Is this something that all of you are just sort of like in for a penny, in for a pound? Is this something that gives you a reaction that you're keeping to yourself? Or is anybody concerned that they followed an unstable man into a horrible circumstance.
Radu's in. Radu's eager. Radu loves it.
I think Martha has... It doesn't bother her so much that in the way that since she got her powers, essentially, right? So she was someone, I guess I wasn't sure when we were going to do any backstory at all, but I feel like this affects kind of Martha's thought process that essentially when the wood portal like reopened, because the wood and metal were closed for like eons and they've only recently reopened, and she got this rush of connection to the wood plane. She's gotten to this point where she kind of she understands that there are things beyond her knowledge and beyond her control. There are things that are not explainable from what she can see in front of her. So she is totally believing everything that Vadim says she's in.
Awesome.
Vadim called the right person for this job.
Vadim,
David, how do you think Blando is coping with all of this?
Vadim, we've been through a lot together. You know, I'll have your back whenever you call my number. I have to ask, this deity of yours who keeps pulling or pushing, at any rate compelling you across the continent, here and back, I feel a strong divine connection to Erastil. It expresses itself through rootedness in the place that I am. It doesn't send me chasing off across the ocean only to bring me back to where I was. I know it's a strange way to ask it, but do you trust her?
Of course. She can be cruel. She can be single-minded. But who am I to question her wisdom? She's a goddess. I am just a man.
I offered up a prayer to Erastil looking for some kind of guidance about whether to be here. He usually doesn't respond.
I know that feeling.
I just really like Blando's whole attitude. Did you choose Erastil just so you go, Erastil?
No.
I'm getting a little bit of Woody Allen.
In fact, if anything, Robin, I completely forgot to make a vocal choice the first time I spoke. So we're all surprised at what's coming out of my mouth as it happens.
I kind of love it. It's a little Christian Slater, which is also a very exciting flavor,
yeah.
I feel like.
I'm worried it may be too distinctive, if that makes sense.
The Christian Slater thing is perfect for me because I just picture David the entire time just like rubbing the back of his head, which I feel is like the classic Christian Slater move, just like nervously rubbing the back of his skull.
Blando's cloak has a worn patch right in the back of his skull because he's used to scratching his hair, his head back there. Now he always wears the hood over it, so it's just a little threadbare back there, and I guess maybe on the wrist where the two pieces of fabric come together.
Yep.
Vadim will be like, "No need to wear out your hood any further, my friend. I know it's a lot to swallow, but I have a strong feeling that this is the path she wants for me. In some ways, I wonder if this is not where she's always wanted me to be. That she knew I would travel with the adventurers in Otari long enough that I could be with them till the point where they no longer needed me. And now, perhaps it was her hand that helped guide Radu's letter to me. To bring me here. she knows all of fate. In all these things, I wonder, have I ever had a choice? Or does she just send me like a hound to hunt down those things that offend her?
So the conversation is interrupted by the sound of branches breaking at the perimeter of camp. Something is approaching, perhaps drawn here by your voices having this conversation. Perhaps the smell from your fire drew them towards you. By the sound of it, it's a few creatures somewhere in the south. Roll for initiative. Yeah. Roll for initiative.
Oh my god, my character has more hit points than Trill. This is so exciting.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yours has less.
This is not enough hit points.
By
gonna
what
need to
percentage is Blando's hit points lower than Max? Like 30%? Is it?
You can't just ask somebody what their hit points
you know, that's rude of me.
Right,
You're right.
it's-
I'm so sorry. That is
Yeah, consider.
totally
rude.
tactless.
It's cool, man. It's fewer.
That makes sense. Yeah. Me too.
The creatures sneaking up on you are rolling stealth. I'm going to get a sense of what everybody's highest perception. I got a 26 perception DC from Radu. I think Radu might be the most perceptive person here. Yes. Okay. So basically what that means is all of you are able to see as you squint out into the distance, you are able to see one like zombie-like looking creature creeping in through the woods. Okay, you see them between the branches and the trees surrounding the camp, and there's like one undead human-looking creature. They look like a zombie. Decaying flesh is peeling away from their long dead bodies, but they are moving silently and slowly through the woods. As you clock that one zombie approaching, let's get a sense of everybody's initiative roll. Zoe, how did Radu Drakescu do on this initiative roll?
He's feeling pretty ready. 26.
Okay. Was not caught off guard too much by this, but maybe Radu thinks he's on top of it, but he's actually about to get swarmed. Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Armat, how did Vadim do here on this initiative?
He did okay. He got an 11 on the die for a 23. So I think maybe he's still lost in his thoughts a bit, and so he's a little slower off the mark, maybe.
Yes, perhaps thinking too much about the metaphysical questions surrounding his faith in Pharasma to notice an ambush. Robin, how did Martha do on this? Or Martha, the kineticist?
Yeah, Martha did okay. She got a 25, but she does get to battle cry. Because I couldn't let it go.
You can battle cry. You see one enemy approaching.
So she's going to battle cry at it.
So nice. She shouted twice.
Where is it?
I
Oh,
had-
there it is.
Skills, demoralize.
Yeah, and let me show you the art of this creature. It is essentially, it just looks like an infantryman who has fallen and been preserved somehow in undeath, who is just slowly sneaking up, some sort of sinister intelligence guiding him forward.
So that was a 28 for her battle cry.
28 versus Will DC. Yes, that is absolutely going to do it as this zombie creature flinches back, frightened by Martha's scream in his direction. How did Blando do here?
Other than accidentally rolling perception a moment ago, I ended up with a 29 for initiative. Really solid die roll from old Blando Thrush.
Yes.
I think that Blando's focus on on the environment led him to be more attuned to the presence of an interloper
Yes.
emerging from the trees.
Yeah, and Blando is more aware. Blando, arguably probably the first to hear this like cracking branch out in the woods to the south.
No.
Here's what's going to happen, though. As soon as the four of you swivel around and see this one zombie approaching, another zombie crunches through the underbrush and appears on the far eastern edge of your camp. They are going to, as a free action, start lurching forward with a sudden burst of speed. Zombies are typically very slow. This one starts like ambulating, twisting its arms around, and it is now going to be quickened for this first round,
Oh, dang.
which is pretty exciting.
Rude.
And what that means is that they are going to move a total of 20 feet up towards Martha, and they are going to swing at Martha with a dagger, lunging forward unnaturally quickly towards Martha. To strike Martha, first attack of this is a 23. I should mention also, Martha, because this surging zombie is advancing to you with such speed, you are off guard to this attack.
And
Lars?
because she's off guard.
Yes, Armat?
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
Do I have a reaction?
Yeah, you do. You heard the zombies
Wah,
approaching.
wah.
Glimpse, please.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're playing this
Oh,
game
it is good to be
again.
back.
We're back.
Okay, Robin, what were you saying about your armor class?
I was going to
please?
say that because she's off guard too, it hits, and only
Okay.
because she's off guard too.
Okay,
It hits
I'm-
on the nail. It hits on the nose.
Got it. Armat, can you throw that glimpse into the chat, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I
Um,
glimpse.
I know. I kind of have forgotten how it is. So the monster has a choice. It can repent and the ally is unharmed by the triggering damage, or it can refuse and my ally Martha gains resistance to all damage against the triggering damage equal 2 plus my level, which is 7, so for a total of 9. And after that,
Yeah, I'm doing it.
yeah. And now it's in.
I'm going to attack you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I rolled 21 points of damage. Martha should be resisting some of that. We've got new automation in our system. Let's see if it works.
Okay, so if I take that damage, it says I take 12 points of damage.
Instead of 21, yes, you resist
Vadim.
9 points of damage. I hate this character so much.
It's good to be
And
back
Mar-
at
as
the
Martha,
redemption
like-
game.
Martha feels like the energy from the zombie coming at her on one side and the energy from Vadim coming on the other side. And she could feel that the reason she didn't take as much was Vadim. And she looks over at him. You've saved me again, Vadim.
And I always will.
Another thing I'll mention is that this zombie had sneak attack against you while you were off guard. You're now no longer off guard. So that was a big hit with lots of dice because I added extra 2d6 and you absorbed a ton of it. So here comes then a strike with a short sword that flashes out from this zombie's other hand, still at Martha. That's a 26 to hit.
And that does hit. Again, just
Okay.
barely. Now that she's not off guard.
9 points of damage this time. Vadim is out of reactions, so
Oof.
shove it.
Okay. But still, I still don't feel as bad as I would if I were Trill right now.
It's
It's amazing what having 30 more hit points can do.
At this point, another of these zombies emerges from the woods, surges forward, a burst of speed, carrying them forward, and they stumble quickly up towards Radu, who is off guard to this attack as they emerge from the woods. They swing a fist towards Radu. That one, a 26 to hit.
That will do it. That's gonna hit.
So Radu is going to take a total of 16 points of damage then from this fist swinging towards them. You see that this zombie that is emerging from the woods looks like they are slowing down now more unnaturally. They're not able to accelerate every single turn. They have a certain length of time that they have to get back up to attacking speed. But then a short sword flashes out towards Radu again. How did this attack of a 19 do against Radu?
That is not going to do it, sadly.
Okay. So Radu and Martha both withstand 2 quick strikes from these undead creatures, and now the skeptic Blando Thrush leaps into action. David,
Yeah.
you're playing another character now.
Yeah. It's true. Let's see. This is going to be a pretty different turn. I don't think I'm going to move and make 2 melee strikes. Not with this little Dickens. All right. I want.
So that's a t-shirt. Not with this little Dickens. That's a t-shirt.
It could be some men's underwear.
That's what my
also.
dad used to say to my mom. I don't know.
Oh no.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
we're back. I'd like to apologize. I
Sorry, Anne.
would. I'd like to start by recalling knowledge, please.
Yeah, please give me a little religion check, blind, please, or a relevant lore if you've got such a thing. I don't know what you've got.
Let's.
I don't know your life.
Yeah, sure. My lore. Now that you mention it, thank you so much. I have forest lore and plains lore.
I don't think either of those is particularly relevant.
No,
but I imagine religion is something you know
I'm
about.
gonna go with religion.
Okay, give me a blind religion, please.
With pleasure.
Okay, Blando Thrush has a sense of what this kind of creature is. This is a sort of zombie called a withered. This is a zombie that is like there's another kind of zombie called a husk zombie that are like special necromantically enhanced zombies. These are zombies that have survived out here in the woods for several years. Their eyes turn into pale glowing orbs set deep into otherwise empty sockets.
Right.
They are cunning. These are smart zombies is the sort of the main thing that you know about them. Would you like to ask me any questions about these creatures, please?
Yes.
Weaknesses, perhaps.
That's exactly what I want to know about.
Yes, these creatures are weak to vitality damage.
Yes, excellent. That is just what I was hoping you'd say. I almost asked specifically if they were weak to vitality damage, and then I thought that would be a little self-centered. Well, it's very fascinating that you say that, Lars, because among the few spells that I understand in my spell list is that's not true. I know what a bunch of these do. Like light, that's straightforward, and shield, that's straightforward. And then
Sort of.
It's not that straightforward.
Shield has some wrinkles to
It
it.
sure does. But I understand Vitality Lash.
Yes.
And so
Some people are calling it the best spell in the game.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty good. I really like it.
Yeah.
Well,
Trill really enjoys using it.
a broken spell selector is right twice a character, I suppose. I would like to cast Vitality Lash on, let's see, who can I reach? What kind of range does 30 feet? Okay.
30 feet. You can reach any of the 3 withereds that you're able to see right now.
No. I'm going to start with the one that is next to Radu.
Okay.
So that would be this one right here, because Radu is a young fella, and I'm here to protect the young pup. All right. What does
Thanks,
Vitality Lash do, you say? Well, it is targeting your Fortitude save.
That's
And
probably not very good.
May
I just wanna
damage you if you're unfortunate, so I cast it.
Okay.
Cast it, and you'd have to make a save against my spell.
I'm going to make a save. I rolled a 19 on my save.
That's not going to do it as a DC 25 Fortitude save. So you are going to take 2d6 Vitality damage
Times a bunch.
times a bunch. Why did
I'm
that?
taking 5d6 vitality damage because this is a heightened spell.
Yep.
Vitality Lash, David, is a cantrip, which means that you cast it at the highest rank that you have, which
Whoa.
adds all kinds of crazy damage to it.
Oh my gosh. I didn't think this character could do 16 damage in like 3 turns. This is so pleasing. Well, I knew all about spell heightening, obviously, prior to that remark. And so I hit you for 16 damage. What does that look like? It looks like a vitality lash. So maybe it's kind of like a whip. It's like a nature whip. It's
A nature, yeah.
It's a tendril. It's a tendril. It's a spell tendril that comes from my hand, and it reaches out. It sort of looks like a vine, uncurling and unfurling in the air. And as this
David,
happens,
I feel as though you don't believe that this is happening. Like there's like a skepticism that you're underlining.
well, it's I guess maybe it's easier for me to understand the hitting of shit than
casting abstract spells that don't exist in real life from a distance against a thing.
But dude, it's so much fun.
And I guess what would Blando say as he casts a spell like this?
What would Blando say?
He would probably say something.
WWBF.
Yeah, he would probably say something like, yeah.
Oh, God.
That's the fearsome war cry I remember.
Yeah.
This tendril of vital magic, which slips out of Blando's staff, does extra damage to this withered, and you see that the life-giving magic is corroding the very essence of this undead creature. Extra damage.
And yeah, Blando feels a rare kind of satisfaction with his, with his oomph, with his damage dealing prowess, and that's a 2-action spell. So I believe that seals it for Blando Thrush's first turn.
Yes, it appears that it does. After Blando cast this quick spell, 2 more zombies, withereds, appear out from the wilderness and also start surging forwards into, like, very quickly into the pack. The first of these appears about due south of you and lurches towards Vadim. Vadim, caught off guard by this incredibly fast zombie, sees a fist coming at him just a moment too late as he is off guard to the strike. That is a 20 to hit.
Somehow Vadim manages to dodge out of the way, because that is a miss.
And then a dagger slips out from the zombie's hand, and I just rolled a 1 on the die.
A fumble card because you fumbled hard.
Very bad. Did I draw the ace of spades?
You did not.
Nope.
It's the 6. That's the wrong side of the deck. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, sorry. Did I draw the ace of spades?
Nope.
No, it's the 4
of spades.
The 4. Yes. So that's it for that mummy's turn. But just a moment later, zombie's turn. Another zombie lurches out from the. Where did this
6?
son of a gun go?
5.
We're up to 5 now. Another mummy lurches forward quickly, accelerating at unsafe at any speed, especially for a zombie, out towards Blando, rushing straight towards Blando.
Whoa!
Blando, made off guard by this unexpected strike. Here comes a fist flying out as this zombie goes, rolls a 23 to hit.
That hits,
Okay.
which is so weird. I mean,
Does it? Does it really? Did I target the wrong person again? I did, didn't I? A 23 hits you, you're telling me.
It sure
yeah,
does.
it does. Oh, gosh. You're a squish. You're a squishy man.
Yeah, we should have given me some armor or something.
You're not allowed to wear it. That's 15 points of damage to Blando.
I'm unconscious.
And then a dagger strike. 17 on the die, a 26 to hit Blando.
That also hits.
And that's going to be 13 more points of damage to Blando as this cleric gets a 1-2 punch of a fist and a dagger. It is now Radu's turn as Radu, doting upon his brother perhaps, sees that the undead that Fangwood Forest is so famous for have started swarming around you. What is Radu going to do?
All right. Radu is going to move to the south of the zombie that's attacking Vadim.
Oh, hell yeah.
Incensed that his brother is being, his role model is being harassed. He is going to go into his wolf stance.
A stance?
A stance.
Ooh.
I have a stance. Others have had stances, and now I, too, may take a stance. I enter the stance of a wolf, low to the ground with my hands held like fangs. Don't worry.
Oh.
I can make wolf
Figurative
jaw
bite attack.
unarmed attacks. They deal 1d8 piercing damage. They're in the brawling group, and I have all sorts of fun traits for them.
So it's like a bite attack with your hands?
That's right.
Sweet.
You might call it a hand attack.
No.
Okay, you're
I
selling
call it a
yourself
bite
short there.
attack.
Yeah.
You would. And then for his last action, he is going to do Flurry of Blows.
Zoe!
yeah.
I know.
Woo!
Look at this.
Ooh.
man.
And
I love
I'm
flurry of
trying to
blows.
figure out how to actually make that happen. I guess that's in my...
Is
There
a
we-
flourish ability.
I just can strike twice.
Yeah, you just do 2 wolf jaws as strikes, and you
Okay.
apply map as per usual.
Oh, it does have map, but I get to do 2.
Correct. It's just action compression.
Like one of those vacuum-packed mattresses.
Exactly.
That's right. Yes.
Casper
All right. It
of
seems that Foundry has frozen for me, but I think my dice just rolled on your screen, Lars. How did I do?
They sure did. You rolled a 28, which is nearly a critical hit, but not quite.
Not quite. Well, let's see what damage that does. That does how much? 8 points of
that-
damage?
Take into account the flanking.
It did.
Oh,
You just rolled 15 points of damage. That's 2d8 plus 6.
Hey.
Plus also 1 because you have the backstabber trait on this wolf strike, which throws a little bit extra damage in there.
There you go. All right. And second attack here is...
Oh, you can't see it.
I
It's a
can't see
20.
it.
It's a 21. That hits only because you're flanking.
Hey!
Drakeshku Dream
And
Team.
that does 18 points of
Seriously.
damage? My
That is 17 points of
17.
damage. Yes. Absolutely. As Radu jumps into a stance and unlaunches 2 quick jaws, wolf jaws strikes on the withered zombie.
All right.
All right. It is now Martha's turn. Martha has seen 5 zombies, 5 withereds emerge from the woods and start swarming around. One of them even bit her. It was messed up. What is Martha going to do?
Mhm.
Martha stomps on the ground, and as she does that, a swirl of energy appears around her. So she now has her kinetic aura floating around her. And the first thing she's going to do is
And this is like bits of wood have like lifted off the ground and are cycling around
Yeah.
Martha.
It's pretty cool.
Cool.
And she's going to stomp on the ground. As she does it, she goes into her Ravel of Thorn stance.
I would like to say, Robin, before you jump into your
Yeah.
Ravel of Thorn stance, when you channel elements, when you create that
Oh,
aura, you get the
right.
opportunity to do a 1-action blast.
But it's not a free blast, it's a one action blast.
It's a 1-action blast. No, you do the 1-action. You do the 1-action version of your blast. Just to let people at home know, kineticists can do basic attacks for either 1 or 2 actions. 2 actions that does more damage. When
Yeah.
you enter your like aura,
Mhm.
you get to do a blast or a stance for free. So if you want to do your Ravel of Thorn stance for free, you can, or if you want to do your blast for free, you can.
Ooh, let's do the Ravel of Thorns for free then.
Great.
So now around her is a 10-foot, in a 10-foot aura are a bunch of viney thorns that come out of the ground to create difficult terrain. Fun fact, though, she also took the feat Safe Elements, which means that she gets to name which creatures are immune to whether it's damage or a benefit of whatever she's doing. And so the 3 of you are immune to the effects of the Ravel of Thorns.
Oh, thank you, Martha.
So these thorns pop out of the ground, but deftly dodge your friends.
So anytime a creature in that moves through the terrain, they take 2 piercing damage. And so that's...
And it's difficult terrain for them to move through.
And so is that all still just one action?
That was, you have so far done 1 action.
That's so cool. So then she's going to, with her second action, she'll just go ahead and elemental blast this guy right next to her who attacked her.
Are we talking about a 1 action or a 2 action elemental?
I'm going to do a
blast,
1
Robin?
action because then I'm going to do something else.
Okay. One of these zombies between Radu and Vadim is particularly injured also.
That's true. Okay, so maybe she'll target that one instead. And she's going to do the blast that has vitality damage. Because there is a blast that does that. And that was a cruddy roll. That was a 22.
As this blast escapes Martha's hands, this small disc around her neck, this gate attenuator that boosts her kinetic blasts, activates, and it's only because of your gate attenuator does that hit.
Ah, that's so cool. Okay, so she hits it, and that is going to be 8 points of vitality damage.
Okay, and you get the sense that vitality damage as this blast of wooden life energy lacerates this zombie. That's doing more than you would think.
Fabulous. And for her last action, she's going to pull out her hardwood armor. Which, there it is. Would you like to create a wooden shield in your free hand? Yes, please.
Yeah. Good idea.
So that includes it ups her AC bonus and does a whole bunch of shit.
So like heavy wooden plates appear around Martha and a shield apparates in her hands and she is suddenly like a fully armored wooden warrior.
Yeah.
Also, there are rocks floating around her or whatever.
There's logs,
bits of wood. Also,
and vines.
Yeah.
Thorny vines.
I was up till 12:30 last night trying to figure out how the hell this character worked. I just want everybody to understand.
I was in so much pain yesterday, and I still spent so long. Like, I watched so many videos on YouTube. I read through all of Rage of Elements in a day just to try and get this down.
Okay, so as the plane of wood just pummels the ground with various wooden accoutrements, it is now Vadim's turn. What will Vadim do here?
So Vadim shakes off his reverie and immediately grins at Radu on the other side of this zombie. He's like, "You remember I told you about Dale? I picked up a couple of tricks from her." And he is going to try and do a dirty trick on the zombie.
Vadim is going to do a dirty trick?
Yeah. That is a 31. Does that succeed?
That succeeds against the zombie's reflex DC. This is a thievery check versus reflex. As you do something like tie their shoes together, what are you doing to this zombie?
So the art for the zombie has several daggers stuck in it. I think Vadim nimbly reaches out, pulls one from the zombie's torso, and drops to a knee and drives it through its instep, making it clumsy 1.
I mean, the art does make it look like the daggers are stuck into the zombies as is.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else happens when you successfully do a dirty trick?
Well,
Armat?
with Vadim looking so stylish as he does that, he has gained panache.
Vadim has panache all of a sudden?
Yeah, he does. We rebuilt him as a champion archetype swashbuckler, and I love him so much.
That's what you ever really wanted. I don't know why he wasn't that in the first place.
I don't think Swashbuckler was out when we started.
It was out, but not the dirty trick. There are various. There's a lot of technology we're using right now that was not available at the time.
Yeah. But now that he has panache, he's going to leap into a large downward slash with vigilance.
Yes. It's a beautiful weapon.
It is a beautiful weapon. Are you doing a finisher right now, Armat?
You better believe he's doing a confident finisher. That's a 26 to hit.
Okay, that 26 hits this flanked zombie, of course.
All right.
That's a bunch of dice.
So that is 26 slashing damage and 1d6 persistent vitality from Vigilance's vitalizing rune.
So glad we all have vitality damage.
Vitalizing rune.
The thing, if you don't know about swashbucklers, I guess that Armat and I will have a conversation about this at on the next gold mine. But basically the deal is they do stylish things to gain what's called panache, and then they trade in that panache by doing things called finishers, which are big attacks. So it's a way of bolstering what it is that you're doing to attack.
So it's like a temporary self-buff.
Yes.
Mhm.
And you constantly gain it and lose it and gain it and lose it over the course of the fight.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's a really fun system. I'm so excited to be playing this.
I feel like this is how things worked for me mechanically in college.
Armet, you should clear that panache though, and I believe
I
you have
should
another
indeed.
action.
And with his last action, he is going to look up at Radu. And he is going to perform an action known as One for All as he shouts at Radu, "My brother, show me what a Drakeshku can really do." And he's raising vigilance in the air to cheer his brother on because this action counts as aiding his brother.
Yay.
And if he succeeds in the he can use the diplomacy roll, and if he succeeds, he'll get panache back. The start of the next turn.
Oh my gosh, swashbucklers are cool.
They're fucking awesome.
That's fun. It also kind of makes Vadim's personality a little bit different. That he's got this like positive and self-actualized thing. He's not just brooding over this quest he doesn't understand. It's like having done enough of Pharasma's bidding, he's like confident in himself, and now he's like swaggering instead of brooding or something. It's like, I don't know. It feels like
I think you nailed it.
Totally, yeah.
He's like the same dude, but he's also a different dude, it feels like.
He's gone through therapy.
Yeah. You know, the Pharasman methodology is complicated and requires a lot of catharsis, but it does get you there in the end.
We processed it.
Yeah.
Or he processed it
He
at least.
processed it.
He
for
processed
sure.
something.
You know what else gets you there in the end is the final combatant of round one. It is the one zombie that you were able to spot, and that Martha frightened with a battle cry. That zombie is going to use the same sort of like accelerated action surge kind of thing, and start moving at a super quick pace towards Radu, flanking with another one of these zombies, and they swing forward with a strike from their fist. 19 on the die.
Ooh.
That's going to be a 32 to hit.
Lars.
That hits.
Glimpse,
yes,
please.
Armin? Okay.
Oh,
I will.
Good choice.
I'll throw the glimpse in the chat, please.
Yes, can do.
I guess you have a reaction again because you just went, wow,
Yeah.
boy.
Okay, I'm going to choose to make the attack. I will become enfeebled. So do I have 2 enfeebled zombies. Okay, very good. One thing I'm going to tell you is that 32 that I used to hit would have been a critical if not for the frightened applied to this creature.
Okay.
So
Continued debuff.
that's big. Here comes the damage from this fist strike towards Radu. That is 15 points of damage.
That is damage that I'm going to take. This is my narration of that.
Okay, great. And then a dagger flashes out towards Radu real quick. That's only 6 points of damage because of the Glimpse of Redemption, and then there's an 18 to hit next.
That's not going to hit.
Okay. At the top of round 2, it seems as though the sound of the combat has drawn the attention of yet more creatures. Rampaging into the opening, you first see 1 and then 2 more creatures, and as you whip around to see what they are, you hear a blood-curdling screeching that sends your head reeling. Taking only a second to gather your senses, you realize that this is a trio of creatures, each around 9 feet tall. They are standing upright on 2 feet like a grizzly bear, with the feathers of an owl covering their bodies.
Oh, come on.
Decaying meat surrounding their yellow, beady eyes above their bird-like beaks.
3 owl bears?
These undead bear owl creatures screech one more time
So good.
before stomping their way in your direction.
That's one of the most horrific illustrations I've ever seen.
And we will pick up from there next time.
I'm so excited.
Why did we make camp here?
Yeah, it seems like a bad spot.
The Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated fan content policy, using trademarks and copyrights owned by Paizo that are covered under that policy. The Roots of Ruin is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. All original characters and content in The Roots of Ruin are the property of Tabletop Gold, and all rights are reserved. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Visit our website, tabletopgold.com, to learn more about us and our shows, join the Golden Horde to get access to more shows, pick up great merch, and connect to the best online community in all of podcasting. Thanks for listening.